Hello YouTube and welcome back to another video, this time something a little bit different from myself. A quick look at a magazine that I've owned for the past 16 years, the July 1995 issue 1 of GamePro. I don't know why I've owned it for so long. I think for some bizarre reason I thought it might one day be worth a fortune, but I doubt it very much is. But the interesting thing about this magazine, I think it was an American magazine, I think this was its first UK issue. The interesting thing about it was, obviously 1995 was a year that a lot of consoles were set to come out, like the Sega Saturn and the Sony PlayStation. The interesting thing about this magazine was it came with the GamePro video game hardware outlook. So let's take a quick look inside. The first thing we see is an advert for the Panasonic 3DO. Some interesting games there, and sort of try to steal Sega's sort of way of advertising. We've got the software, not next month, not coming next year, it's all here right now. We got it, they don't. It's as simple as that. And it was a promising machine, the 3DO, but obviously it wasn't a big success in the end. So on the next page we've got a bit of a preview of all the systems, and look at the Philips CDI. I remember seeing one of these machines at the local video shop. The golf game looked absolutely immense, but the Zelda games looked embarrassing, and well, obviously it was a big flop in the end. The next page we've got the Super Nintendo and the Sega Mega Drive. Obviously in 1995 both of these machines have been out for quite a few years, but both brilliant machines obviously. And on the next page we've got the SNK Neo Geo, obviously the CD system here. Never owned one of them, would like to. I love the look of the joypads, but the slow load times and the price of the games kind of puts me off. Sega Saturn there at the bottom. I did own a Sega Saturn. I got one pretty much when it came out, and you know, games like Knights and things were really phenomenal, but I ended up trading it in to get a Sony PlayStation when Final Fantasy VII came out, which at the time, you know, I didn't regret, but looking back now I wish I'd kept my Saturn because I had some cool games for it. Next up is an absolutely fantastic advert for the Atari Jaguar. Obviously the console with the worst controller, or certainly the worst looking anyway. My friend had one of these, and I remember being really blown away by the graphics at the time. Like it was Alien vs Predator was just purely scary, and like the version of Sensible Soccer and Cannon Fodder and Theme Park were really like cut above anything else on the console at the time. But yeah, they knew how to big themselves up with this 64-bit business. But yeah, shame it failed really. So next up is the famous Sony PlayStation. Obviously at the time the PlayStation or Saturn hadn't come out in the UK. I think they may have just come out in Japan. In fact, I'm pretty sure they'd come out in Japan. And here's the Jaguar, and the Jaguar with the CD there. I mean, this was at a time, I think people still thought there was a lot of promise in the Jaguar, because they were showing off the virtual reality headset at E3 this year, and you know, people thought, you know, it's going to go somewhere. Obviously Atari are a big name company, but in the end it amounted to nothing. And here's the Panasonic 3DO. Interesting machine. I've never owned one or even seen one in the flesh, but I hear Road Rash on it's really good. And lastly here is the PC and IBM compatibles, which at the time it says here it cost £1,000 in 1995 to get a PC that would be capable of playing games. And as you can see there, I mean, that's some huge PC. All that nice little setup there. This looks very similar to that one there, doesn't it? So there you go. I never had a PC. One of my friends had a PC, and I suppose it was just like an FMV cutscene, but I remember my jaw hitting the floor unbelievably, thinking, I can't believe this is a computer game, it's unreal. Here's the Nintendo Ultra 64, obviously the N64 before it was even released, and a nice little picture of the Virtual Boy there. and the classic Commodore Amiga, and the Amiga CD32. I actually played on one of them once. It really is one hell of an ugly console, but I really would like to own one of these. I don't know why, I just would. That controller, it's wrong. It's like it's backwards. I don't know, there's something bizarre about it. And some noteworthy mention for the Nintendo Entertainment System. I actually used to own a Nintendo Entertainment System. I swapped it from a Mega Drive, which at the time was a great deal, because obviously, you know, an 8-bit machine for a 16-bit machine. And at the time when I swapped it, the Mega Drive had only been out for about a year. But I sort of regret it now, because I used to own like Zelda, the gold cartridge version, or the Mario Brothers, and I used to own some real quality games on it, all boxed and that, but unfortunately I did the swap. And here's an advert for Silica. I used to drool over these. There's a virtual reality headset there and the CD-ROM add-on for the Jaguar. But we was never allowed to have anything out of these, but it just seemed like such a good deal, you know. It was $149 with just the console, then you could have the game for an extra £10, so it just seemed great. So now going on the back there is just the classic Sega Saturn advert there, stations of the train spotters, this is for real. So that's it. I just thought I'd give you a quick look at that because I thought it was quite interesting. And I thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll upload some more videos soon.